Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Power is Now Homebuyer Townhall. My name is Eric Frazier. It's a beautiful day in Southern California, a great day to talk about real estate, folks, and I enjoy talking about helping first-time homebuyers to get into homes, to talk about down payment assistance and closing cost assistance. These are game changers for anybody interested in buying a home. And today, it's perhaps more challenging today than it has ever been to get into that new home. And we're going to be talking about that as well. What are some of the best areas to buy a home right now, given the current market conditions? And then, of course, down payment is still the number one barrier to buying a home. And what are some of the fastest ways and best ways to save money? These two topics and much more we're going to talk about today on the Homebuyer Town Hall. Now, with me today are three extraordinary individuals, and we're going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, but they're here to talk about real estate, talk about finance, talk about things that will hopefully enable you, empower you, educate you about the home buying process and just some things you need to know. So it's going to be a great show. Now, in addition to being the host of The Power is Now, I'm also a vice president and mortgage advisor with First Bank. My license number is 461807. The views and opinions that I express on this show are my own and do not necessarily reflect that of First Bank. Now, let's move to introductions. First up, Meagan Harris from the Golden State Finance Authority. Welcome, Meagan, to the show.
Thank you so much, Eric. I'm so happy to be here. Meagan Harris with Golden State Finance Authority, here to bring you the latest and greatest information on our down payment and closing cost assistance options.
Thank you, Meagan. I'm looking forward to your presentation and our discussion. Next up is Jenny Gonzalez out of Corona, California. Welcome, Jenny, to the show.
Thank you, Eric. It's a pleasure as always. This is Jenny Gonzalez with Keller Williams Corona. My license number is 01249788. I've been licensed since 1998. My cell phone number is 951-316-0374. And my website's jennygsaleshomes.com. And I serve all of Inland Empire and all of Southern California.
Jenny, I'm so glad you're here. I know you've got some great announcements about another listing and more opportunities also for people to buy. Now, finally, is Yvonne Mcfadden. Nobody sells Arizona like Yvonne Mcfadden. Welcome to the show, Yvonne.
Welcome from the Valley of the Sun. I'm Yvonne Mcfadden. I'm with Deluxe Realty. And my license number is SA0350430000. You can contact me by calling 480-628-2619. And please check out my website. It's a ton of information on the state of Arizona if you're relocating here. And that's YvonneMcFaddenRealtor.com.
Thank you, Yvonne. There is a ton of migration from California to Arizona because of affordability. Yvonne's going to tell us all about it. But folks, those are our guests, and they are ready to go. We're going to talk about headline news. We're going to get into the two topics I mentioned earlier. Where are the best places to buy given this market? And what are the fastest ways and the best ways to save money? We're going to talk about Golden State Finance Authority, the California Housing Finance Agency. I know that Jenny Gonzalez has a listing for land and for residential property, so she's going to tell us all about that as well. So this is jam-packed information. Please let others know that we're live on Facebook. In fact, tune in every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock live on Facebook to get this kind of great information. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about headline news. You're listening to The Power is Now Homebuyer Town Hall. We'll be right back.
Many Californians fear that they will not be able to pay their rent next month. Financial education and literacy are the catalyst for relief. So what resources are out there? A State of California program connects you with a HUD-certified housing counselor who can assist you on your financial education journey with no cost to you. Call today at 1-800-569-4287. Again, that is 1-800-569-4287.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to The Power is Now Homebuyer Town Hall. I love doing these shows, folks, because it's about providing you information, tools, resources, even real estate agents that can help you achieve the American dream of homeownership. And folks, there's all kinds of things happening right now that is making homeownership a challenge. From the variant, this COVID-19 and the new variant that's taking place, and we're seeing cases rise, the lack of inventory that's happening across the country, and of course, just interest rates, the threat even of interest rates rising and making it even more difficult for people to buy. Now, in the headline news right now, and this is from CNBC, it came out yesterday, and the title to this headline news is "Housing Boom is Over as New Home Sales Fall to Pandemic Low." So the sales of new single-family homes fell to an annualized rate of 676,000. That's 6.6% below the May rate of 724,000 and 19.4% of the June 2020 level of 839,000. Man, that is a major drop, and it's got everybody concerned. The median price of newly built homes in June rose to 6% from June of last year. So we see that new home construction, the prices are rising, but are they selling? The inventory of new homes for sales jumped from a 5.5 month supply in May to a 6.3 month supply in June. Last fall is set at a low 3.5 month supply. So we've almost doubled the months of supply in new homes over a year. And so this, again, is a sign of potential trouble to come. So the article goes on to say the sales of newly built homes dropped in June to the lowest level since the early days of the coronavirus pandemic, which started in April of 2020. Now, the sales of new family homes fell to an annualized rate, we talked about, of 676,000 or 6.6%. So after a year of frenzied buying and price escalations, we're seeing things level off, but are they just leveling off? They may actually be falling down. Everybody wants a new home, right? So you would think new home sales, the days on market would be dropping because that's really kind of the first choice for a first-time home buyer. I mean, who doesn't want a turnkey situation? But it turns out that that is not the case. These homes are staying on the market longer. And as a result of that, builders are actually slowing down. They're not going to keep building the way they were building because they're anticipating a slowdown in the market. And of course, when this happens, then all the builders start slowing down. We see that the demand, though, for housing is not slowing down. And so we'll see prices continue to rise until the resale market also starts slowing down. And we're seeing signs of that. Homes are staying on the market longer. We're seeing price reductions start to happen. And so are we headed to just a whole new environment where we'll see a lot more inventory of resales on the market, as well as more inventory of new homes on the market? And there is a possibility that we could go to a buyer's market. Is that possible?
No.
Nobody knows. Yvonne says no. I don't know what Jenny says. We're going to find out in a minute. We don't know, really. Nobody has a crystal ball, but the data is interesting. The data is interesting and is causing builders to pause and to really take a look at things. So let's see what our guests have to say about this article. First up is Jenny Gonzalez out of Corona, California. Jenny, what do you think? Does this give you reason to believe that we might be headed to a buyer's market as well?
I think we're just stabilizing, Eric. We kind of talked about this before, and the buyers are tired of playing the game that the sellers, including the builders, are playing. The builders are forcing the buyers to fork out $60,000 to $80,000 just to break ground on a property. And it's forcing them to sell their homes before they're ready, and they have nowhere to live for 6 months, a lot of times, because they can't break ground until they sell their homes. So it's kind of, I think it's kind of karma at this point that the home builders need to kind of take a look at themselves and say, what do we need to do to bring the buyers back in?
Lower the prices, right?
Lower the prices and let them build a house and let the house be there when their house closes, not 6 months from now, but a month from now. I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous. The complaints I have from my sellers about where am I going to go live? I have to go live with my daughter-in-law that hates me, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And she says she's fine with it, but I know she's not fine with it, and I'm really stressed out about it. You know, this is what sellers are going through when they're buying new homes.
Yes.
And it's got to stop. I mean, it used to be you sell your home and you buy a new home that's ready for you.
Right.
That's the way it should be.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And it needs to go back to that. And until that happens, they're going to have the same problem.
Well, we need more inventory. And by the way, Jenny, tell me how you really feel, right? So we need more inventory for sure to bring some normalcy back to the market. And the fact that new homes are staying on the market almost twice as long as they were a year ago is a good sign, in my opinion, because maybe builders will start making price adjustments, which you rarely see on new construction. But the other side of this, Jenny, and Yvonne, I'm going to bring you in next here, is that the demand is still crazy high. I mean, there's such an imbalance of supply. Even if these homes stay on the market, 6 months, even 6 months is not bad for a home to be on the market for, supply. But wow, and demand is so high. And I think now that we see what's happening, that might encourage a lot of people to get off the fence and buy, which increases demand even more, which then affects price even more. Yvonne, what say you?
Eric, it has a lot to do with the dwindling affordability and the market, the buyers' fatigue. I mean, I'm working with several buyers at this point in time, and we just can't find houses. The inventory is still low. The builders, yes, they're claiming they're not going to build, but there's a whole nother story to the builders. The prices, lumber is down, concrete is down, but have the builders reduced their pricing? No. Also, there's a shortage of laborers. We do not have the labor force that we've had in the past. And something very interesting that's happening, the H2B, it's coming back. We're going to partner and bring the immigrants back in to help with the housing shortage of the building community. So with that being said, there's going to be 22,000 new visas coming out. And we're probably going to see that happening very shortly, because I don't care what builder or wherever you go, the housing, they can't start homes because they just do not have the labor force. And wow, that's one of the reasons for the slowdown. We're not crashing, we're not going away. The appreciation that was 39% has now dropped to 20%. If you were getting 10%, you're now getting somewhere between 1 and 3.1% appreciation. So you're still appreciating. It is time to buy. The interest rates are still so relatively low. It's a no-brainer. And the market would have to balance in order for it to turn in a different direction and see it become a buyer's market. But wouldn't you rather buy in a seller's market when you're appreciating?
It just depends. It depends on your financial situation. And I think you make a great point. It is affordability issue. In fact, affordability is going to continue to be a problem as prices continue to rise, whether it be 1% a month or 0.5% a month appreciation. No one's income is going up that high. That at that rate, it is really challenging. And then, I didn't really factor in that just the lack of laborers, as well as the cost of materials, could be one of the biggest factors as to why builders are not building more, in addition to the fact that demand has fallen off and their homes are sitting there longer. Demand is falling off primarily because prices have just exceeded what anyone in those communities can afford to buy. And this reminds me of the Price Fisher ratio where it takes in consideration, the home prices being greater than, say, 6 to 8 times the median income for a community. And so if you look at the median income for any community, let's say it's 50,000, well, 6 times 50 is 300,000, 8 times 50 is 400,000. Homes are selling well above any normal range of sustainability in terms of price, above the median income. And so I think that it's a combination of all these things, but this is really, I think, an important article that many buyers out there are going to read, and they're going to wonder, should I sit on the sidelines for a minute and see what happens? And if I do, will that end up just costing me more as opposed to taking action and buying now? Meagan Harris, now I know you're not a real estate professional, but you're on the finance side of this. What say you about this information?
Well, I think there are several right answers, right? I think all of you guys have kind of touched on it. Demand is not a problem because everybody needs housing, right? It does come down to affordability, and we can't go to Ruth's Chris with the McDonald's budget, right? I mean, that's just not reality. So, and as Jenny touched on, the market does have to stabilize. It has to normalize, and we've been in an unprecedented time in the past year and change with the pandemic, with interest rates, inventory. It's really just been a perfect storm of events to create the conditions that we're looking at now. So while it does look like we could be headed towards a slump, in my opinion, it just looks like we're stabilizing and finally getting back to normalcy as we're edging ourselves out of the pandemic and the current conditions.
Well, folks, it looks like the majority wins here. We're getting back to normalcy and maybe leveling off. We will see. We will see. Thank you, Meagan and Yvonne and Jenny, for your commentary on this very important topic. And I don't know, folks. I don't know what the future holds. I left my my crystal ball in the car, so I didn't bring it in for the show. So maybe next time I'll be able to give you my prediction. Now, this is, again, the Homebuyer Townhall. We are live on Facebook. We're talking about real estate, and we're talking about the opportunity for people to buy. And right now, with the market changing, I know that some people are going to take this as a news to maybe slow their roll a little bit and see what happens. And I can tell you right now that typically with rates being as low as they are, it's probably not a good idea. It's probably not a good idea because today you're buying interest rates. That's really what you're buying. And most people are buying a home that they're going to be in for a long time. You're not, this is a kind of a first time home buyer show, a move up buyer show. I don't think we have any investors who are buying and flipping watching us right now. And so, but if you are watching, well, you probably aren't buying and flipping anything right now because the prices are too high. But for first time home buyers who are going to probably be there 5 or 6 years, maybe 7, maybe 10 years, then price is really not relevant. It really isn't, because based on the rule of 72, if you're just averaging 7% appreciation and everything is way above that, in 10 years, your home is going to double in value. That's just based on the rule of 72. That's just based on 7%. 5 years, it'll be 12 years. So I think that you can't go wrong with interest rates in the 3% range. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back. All right, so that's the headline news. We're going to next talk about some ways to get into a home with more money. What are some of the best ways, the fastest ways to save money? Because that's what you need. You do need money. You do need some down payment and closing cost money, even if you're getting down payment or closing cost assistance from the California Housing Finance Agency or the Golden State Finance Authority. And then, of course, we're going to talk about what are some best places to buy right now in California that might be a little bit more affordable. So those are the two topics that are coming up next. You're listening to The Power Is Now, Homebuyer Townhall. We'll be right back.
The Power Is Now magazines are the leading resource for real estate agents, mortgage bankers, entrepreneurs, and small home ownership businesses, providing leaders with business strategy information, resources, and tools through PIN. real estate, programming guide magazines. Stay up to the minute with real estate news and information from industry experts. Subscription is free. Sign up today. thepowerisnow.com. thepowerisnow.com.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to The Power Is Now Homebuyer Town Hall. And I hope that you are enjoying this conversation, this dialogue about real estate and markets. And, you know, ask your family members and friends what they think about that headline news. And, you know, what are you going to do? What do you think you should do? Let us know. Drop us an email or text message, put it in the chat room. Let us know what you think. I would love to hear it. Now, next up are our two major topics here. And these are very important. The first one is, you know, where are some of the best places to buy right now, given the state of the market? Low inventory, everything, prices way up there. Where are the deals? And so we're going to start with Arizona. Yvonne, where are the best places to buy right now?
In the state of Arizona, believe it or not, we have 796 single family dwellings between 150,000 and 300,000. And of course, you know, you're in remote areas. You're in Kingman. You're on your way to Vegas, baby. You know, but you can still buy a home for under $300,000. And I'm not saying tear downs. I'm talking livable, beautiful homes. These areas, they bring 55 plus communities that are very well manicured and taken care of. Clubhouses. You will not be at a shortage with a lifestyle if you move into a 55 plus community in one of the areas that is not in your major, you know, Phoenix, mid-north Phoenix or Scottsdale. No, the affordability, is it there? No. But you could still look in the Mesa and Tempe area, and the Mesa and Tempe area, those areas too offer 300,000 and better. So it's a very affordable here in Arizona. And I'm Yvonne Mcfadden with Deluxe Realty, and I do accept referrals.
Well, you may be getting some today because you're absolutely right. Where can you go get practically new construction in that price range, but in Arizona? And it's just a couple of hours, right? 1 hour by flight, a couple hours by drive to get there. But I'm wondering, Yvonne, are the prices low there because the economy is not as great? Of course, no economy can compare to California, but and the jobs may not pay as much. What can you give us a little bit about that?
No, you're exactly right, because you're talking about laborers that aren't quite making $15 an hour. But the beautiful part is they're savers. They do know how to save their money. And that's why that down payment assistant program is so prevalent for these people. I'm really beating the drum on DPAs with my workers, because oftentimes it's a mother with her two children, or a wife and husband with one of their mothers. They're starting to pool their monies to purchase these properties. And that's where one of my contracts came from. It's a mother and her daughter with her husband. And it's a 2-bedroom master suite. And it's affordable. Guess what? It's under $300,000 in a 55 plus community.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So the opportunity is clearly there to buy in Arizona if you're looking for affordability. Thank you, Yvonne, for sharing that information. Meagan, what say you about affordability? Do you know of some deals?
So affordability, as you know, Eric, as a California resident yourself, is not abundant in California. I do have to point out, though, that there are some areas of California where affordability is still possible. Northern California still has an abundance of affordability with respect to housing. San Joaquin Valley in particular, I just talked with an agent the other day. She told me about a listing. It's a 4-plex in really good condition. And it was only like $363 or something around that price.
Wow.
Right? Pretty good.
A 4-plex?
A 4-plex in Stockton, California for that price. Now, one of the things that people have to be willing to do is compromise, right? If you're trying to get in now so you can be a part of what's happening and get your belt, tightened with the home ownership, you want to be able to, make some compromises. So, for example, you might have to sacrifice commute, right? You might have to decide that you can negotiate your remote work schedule, right? There may be, as Yvonne pointed out, some rural aspects or some amenities you have to be willing to compromise. This is just to get in the door, right? Because once you are in the door, it becomes a lot easier. You'll have a property with equity that you can leverage, et cetera. But right now, for home buyers looking for affordable homes, it's kind of a crawl before you walk situation, in my opinion.
Wow, great information. And I am a big fan of the 4-unit purchase, and to be able to buy a 4-unit building in San Joaquin Valley or Stockton for under $548,250, right? That's the maximum that Golden State will lend, and we'll learn more about that in a minute. But imagine being able to buy a 4-unit building and not have a mortgage payment to pay because your tenant on the other 3 units will take care of the mortgage. Also, too, I think you make a great point about negotiating. This whole COVID-19 has brought its blessings and curses. And one of the blessings is the fact that employers are truly embracing remote working, working from home and, communicating through online video platforms and just not requiring your physical presence. And that is a game changer for most families, especially families with children, because the cost of babysitting alone is another house payment practically. I know of a couple who are spending like $500 a week for childcare for their kids. That's a house payment. So it's amazing what the new opportunities that have been born out of this pandemic. Of course, again, no one wants the death and the disruption to family life that it has brought, but behind every great cloud is a silver lining, and this is definitely one of them. And then who talks about San Joaquin Valley? This is probably the second time all year that county has even passed my lips, right? Who talks about areas like this? But there are agents in those areas, and they need to be on this show and let everybody know that there are homes for sale in San Joaquin Valley and Stockton. And I don't know about Sacramento. but I know it's pretty affordable. And then down in Southern, it is affordable, right? And see, also in Southern California, we have the outlying areas as well. And I'll let Jenny talk about that. Jenny, so what say you about affordable places to buy in California?
Actually, there are a lot of them in Southern California if you actually want to compromise, as we talked about before. If you are a couple and you only have one child or you don't have a child yet, think about a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. Not a condo, a townhome, but actual single family residence as a 2-bedroom, 1-bath and start out that way. In the last 5 years, I've had 4 people get 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes, and they're still there because they absolutely love it. The outlying areas of Corona, we actually have a little expensive, but in the actual mid-city Corona, it's actually quite affordable. And you can find some affordable homes in downtown Corona. But if you don't want to be in downtown Corona, you can move outlying areas such as Riverside. Lake Elsinore is to the south. Mm-hmm. You have a city called Menifee. That is the best kept secret right now. They're building new homes and they have really, really inexpensive homes and 55 plus. They are really, really known for down there. And I have family down there now, but I'm not going to move down there because it's a little warm for me because I'd rather go to the cooler spots. But we do have some areas that are like that. May I suggest looking at homes that have been on the market for a little while? Mm-hmm. My buyer that I'm closing right now, the house is on the market for almost 3 weeks already. And people are saying, what's wrong with it? There was a couple things, but it wasn't as bad as what we thought. So you got to think outside the box. You got to think outside the city sometimes. And sometimes you just sacrifice a bedroom. if that's not too much of a sacrifice.
Wow, Jenny, think outside the box, think outside the city, think outside the county, think outside the room count in one bedroom. These are great ideas and ways to kind of think differently. And, you know, we've come a long way when we are complaining that a property has been on the market for 3 weeks and asking what's wrong with it. Did you hear what you just said? It's been on the market for 3 weeks. What's wrong with it? Oh my God.
I know. And they're sitting there going, what's wrong with it? We added it up and it really, they're saving $60,000 versus the other stuff that they were looking at, even with the repairs.
Wow. Wow. Man, oh man. Well, let me throw in a couple of things here. First of all, I still got San Joaquin Valley on my mind, but a 4-unit property, you know, for under 400,000. Folks, now USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, provides 100% financing, and they don't do it on units, single family homes, and there are income limits. But when you're buying in those outlying areas, there's a very good possibility that they could be in USDA territory and you can get 100% financing. And on top of that, if you qualify, you could get down payment assistance on a USDA loan to be able to literally be a no money down deal. You could buy a home literally with no money down without any help from the seller or anybody using USDA or VA, veterans as well, 100% financing with down payment assistance. Now, Meagan's going to get into those details in just a few minutes, but those are some of the benefits of going to the outer limits of your community. Another areas that, Jenny, I thought you were going to mention this, but Victorville is still affordable. Now, I cannot believe that there are homes in Victorville selling for $400,000. Yes, they are, folks. In fact, I mean, that's really unheard of. You should be able to buy a house in Victorville between $150,000 to $250,000. But that was back in the day, which was last year. No, not really. I mean,
it's a little warm out there, though.
But it is warm out there, that's for sure. And then you can go even further to Barstow, right? And then you got Yucaipa and you got Palm Desert. So if you're willing to, you know, work from home if you can, or commute, there are opportunities to buy, but that does mean being willing to make some sacrifices. And let me tell you something, just from an economic standpoint, you know, you should be looking at making those sacrifices to get in. Where can you go and put, you know, a few $1,000s, which is what it's going to take you to get in with down payment assistance, or maybe more, maybe $20,000 or $30,000. Where can you go and watch that money grow by 10 times, you know, over the next 10 years, because the property is going to double in value? How do you attach your income to an asset that will double in value over the next 10 years? And it may even be sooner than that. The only way to do this is to buy, and not just downtown or, you know, where everything is, or in a very, you know, exclusive suburban neighborhood, but really anywhere. There's not a piece of property anywhere in this state that is not appreciating in value. And the time to buy is now. All right, so we have covered that topic in detail. We got one more to cover, and that is, what are some of the fastest ways and the best ways to save money? That's the next subject when we come back right after this commercial break. You're listening to The Power Is Now.
Want to keep up with the current developments happening in the world of real estate? The Real Estate Roundtable, hosted by Eric L. Frazier, is a show you do not want to miss. The show features a panel of VIP agents who are passionate about helping people. It is what they do best. They discuss today's hot topics, latest market updates and trends. The panel also conducts interviews with prominent figures in the industry. New episode every Friday live on Facebook and replay on the Power Is Now YouTube channel.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to The Power Is Now Homebuyer Townhall. I hope you are enjoying this conversation and learning something, maybe rethinking, right? Thinking again about, you know, what your preferences are, where you want to live, where you want to buy. I mean, that's the goal of this show, is to educate, empower, and inspire you to think differently, and to, more importantly, to take action. Now, one of the most significant barriers to buying a home today, and it has been for years, it is down payment, coming up with the money. And we have Meagan Harris here from the Golden State Finance Authority, and she's going to be talking about the Golden State's down payment assistance programs, and I'll be sharing the California Housing Finance Agency's down payment assistance program. So we got you covered here. We're going to talk about where you can get some money, but I wanted to spend a few minutes and talk about what are some of the fastest ways to save money from the income you're generating already, and some of the best ways to do that. And so we're going to kick this discussion off with Jenny Gonzalez, extraordinary real estate professional out of Keller Williams in Corona, California. Jenny, tell me how to save some money.
Well, in my opinion, with the first-time homebuyers that I have had over the last couple of years, what they were doing was they were staying with their parents and renting from their parents and saving the money to purchase their homes. Both of my sons did that this year, and I'm very proud of them. I was happily had them in my home and they paid a little bit of rent. So they were able to save most of their paycheck for a home. If you can't do that, then when you do get your paycheck, have it automatically deduct maybe 10%, whatever it is that you think you can give per month that you really don't need, and put it in a savings account. And the third thing that I would say is don't be afraid to ask your family for money. Don't be afraid to ask your family for money, because they probably want you to buy just as much as you do, and they will probably support you in that.
Jenny, that was fantastic. And man, I think that we forget maybe about our parents being a great resource. Now, maybe your parent may not want to give you money, but they are doing so indirectly, right? By letting you stay there rent-free. And so I think that's a great suggestion. So the challenge then is, how do I get my parents to let me in to come back?
My oldest was here 4 times. It took his 4th time for him to save his money and to grow up and do all those things that he needed to do. So yes, sometimes they do come back. We at one time were in a 3-bedroom house. We went from a 5-bedroom down to a 3-bedroom because they all left off to school. And then we had to go back into a 5-bedroom again because they all came back again. So,
oh, that's great, Jenny. You are an extraordinary mother. Letting your kids come back and expanding your dwelling to be able to accommodate them. Now, that is going way beyond the call of motherhood and fatherhood, but you did it, and they're now all homeowners, and congratulations. The other thing, I love this idea of setting up an auto deduction from your paycheck, 10%. And you remind me of Think and Grow Rich, that's by Napoleon Hill, which subscribes to that idea of 10% of your earnings being put away. Paying yourself first.
pay yourself first.
Yes, pay yourself first. And then lastly, asking family, right? So if they won't let you move in, maybe they'll just give you the money, right? It might be worth it to them just to write you the check because they don't want you in the house anymore.
That is exactly right. That is exactly right.
Wow. Well, great suggestions here. Wow. Man, now Yvonne, how can you top that?
Well, I always go in a different direction. Number 1, stop going to Starbucks every day. That adds up. You would not believe, if you really took your calculator and you added up those 5 days that you're on your way to your office or wherever, and you pull through, that's $5. Stop with the Starbucks. Start making your coffee at home. Go to a resale store, buy you a cappuccino machine. They're not even $20. You can have heaven right at home. That will save you money. There are so many other opportunities. There are things in your shed, your closets, your garages that will generate cash. Take those things out and put them on OfferUp. That's another residual cash flow for you. I mean, when I go out on listing appointments and I see the things that are packed in a garage, come on, how many QUVs or QVCs can you buy? I mean, honestly, I listed a home and she had 3 Pilates machines. She had every outfit that Serena had put on the market. And I bought a Pilates machine for $40.
Wow.
So you have to understand, if you go on OfferUp and offer, you can buy things that people think they want. So that's just another way to generate, cash and put it away to assist with down payment. But I certainly agree with Jenny. You really need to rent a room instead of going into trying to rent an apartment. So many people today have rooms for rent because of the expense in rental units. I mean, the rental market has completely overshot itself. Now that I don't know how long it will last. And Arizona is a perfect example of that. These homes that are going for $3,500 and $4,000. I tell my people when they come for a rental, I say, you can buy a house. Let's set you up on a plan so you can buy a home. Why pay $3,500 a month to pay someone else's mortgage? So it's a little frightening to see that people that are striving to purchase, but they're paying someone else's mortgage. And Jenny, you are absolutely right. Forfeit a bedroom, forfeit the square footage, get in something. We had brand new condominiums along the light rail. The units are 600 square feet. I tried to sell them to families that were putting their children in ASU. Oh, they're too small. We don't want it. Well, those little $250,000 places are now worth $400,000. So had they listened and bought a couple of years ago, they would be sitting on almost $250,000 just in appreciation. That's what's so staggering here, I must say, is the appreciation. I have seen properties here, Eric, that are purchased in 2016, and these sellers are selling them with an appreciation of $40,000 per month. How does that happen? But guess what? They're selling. It just depends on the buyer. And the California buyers, we thank you. We bless you. Because you truly, and I was a California buyer. I came in and paid full price. I didn't know any better. I just figured that's the price you pay it. And at that time, my interest rate was 16%. So how does that happen when we have 2-3% and you're saying you can't buy a home? Actually, you can figure out a way. And especially, I can't wait to hear from Meagan with the down payment assistance program, because I think that's phenomenal for the Californians. I must add, I am working with and had a meeting with the president of the Urban League, because, they offer a lot of DPA programs as well. And I just want to, sit down and really have the conversation with him to see how I can launch it into my stream of business, because I'd love to see these young people in houses, and especially with having young children. It would be such a blessing for them all the way around. As we say on this show, generational wealth.
You're absolutely right. It's all about generational wealth. And where does that start? Buying where you live, not renting where you live, but buying where you live. And Yvonne, you brought up some really great points. And, I was that person buying Starbucks in the morning on my way into the office, and at lunchtime, and then on my way home dealing with traffic. So what is that, 15 to, actually it was more, I would always get 2 shots of caffeine. And so that added to my $5 coffee to almost $10. And so it's very easy to spend, $20-30 a day just in coffee if you drink a lot of it, or a minimum of $5 to $10 a day. And it does add up. And I would add one other thing to that, because you're just talking about the coffee, right? I mean, Starbucks sells sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches and everything. And so eating out just kills your budget. It kills your budget. The other thing was sell your stuff. Oh my God, you're absolutely right. I mean, you go on a listing appointment and people can't even use their garages anymore. They have so much stuff just jam-packed, ceiling high, full of stuff. And then you only God knows how much money is sitting in their garage, from old equipment to even music. You know, I was maybe several months ago before the pandemic, I was at a yard sale and I picked up some great albums, you know, from music.
Yeah.
You know, vinyl is hot right now, right? So
Exactly.
I picked up some great vinyl albums and some, my wife picked up this incredible dress, this very famous designer black dress. I mean, it's amazing what you can pick up or what you can sell if you own these properties. And then Jenny brought this up, but you took it to the next level in terms of renting a room. Instead of renting a house, rent a room. Now, it may not work if you got kids. Maybe it will. Just get a big room. I don't know. But renting a room is definitely another way to reduce your housing expense so you can save more money and get into a home. Now, folks, you just heard from two extraordinary real estate professionals, and they have made it very challenging. I don't know what else I could add, but I'm going to put Meagan Harris on the spot right now. Meagan, what say you? What can you do? What can you do, right? About outside of what Jenny and Yvonne has said, what can you do to save money fast? Or what are some of the best ways to save money?
Yeah, so I think the key word for today is going to be compromise, right? Because that's really what it boils down to. And it doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be something that majorly impacts your comfort. Everybody's really laid out some great suggestions. I'm going to rewind back to the beginning of the pandemic when everything shut down. I had appointments for my nails lined up, hair, other beauty services, right? All of them canceled. But when I tell you, after a couple of months, seeing how much money was adding up that I was saving from not having all of these routine appointments that I forget, you know, they do add up. So I was saving somewhere around $300-400 a month just from cutting out.
I gotta stop you right there. $300 to $400 a month from just not doing your nails. And what else were you doing? Nails, manicure?
Yeah, so we're talking hair, nails,
Pedicures.
yes, lashes, facials. I mean, all shebang,
For the record,
right?
I am the least maintenance person here. Thank you very much.
Waxing, right? Like everything. Women are expensive. We know this.
It costs a lot to be a girl.
That's right. So just being willing to cut out those fringe luxuries that we have that we've kind of integrated as necessities in our lives. When you really get down to brass tacks, you realize I actually don't need this. Like, it's nice and I like having it, but I would rather sacrifice what I want now to get what I need later, right? Because everything we want, none of that's going anywhere. The salons will still be there, the Starbucks will still be there, the nail salon, all of it is still there. So it's just a matter of prioritization. I also recommend, if you can't rent a room because maybe you have small children, or whatever the dynamic is in your family situation, consider getting like a studio, or if you have the option of doing like a co-op, or maybe renting or sharing a space with people, like having roommates, right? But just finding ways that you can kind of cut off the fat in your life. That's what I had to do. I did everything that everybody's talking about when I bought my house. I rented a room, I rented a studio, I stopped buying extra stuff. And, before I knew it, I had a property and it's tripled in value since I bought it. So you can start somewhere. It doesn't have to be impossible, and you don't have to suffer along the way. There's still very comfortable ways. Also, when we're talking about generating additional income, there's market surveys you can sign up to do. If you have talents, you sew, you bake, whatever your gift is, charge people for that, right? I mean, monetize your talents. These are other ways you can generate sources of income for yourself as you are saving the income that you're already generating from your primary source.
Meagan, I am so impressed. I thought for sure Jenny and Yvonne had covered it all, but you just brought it. I mean, my goodness. I didn't even think about it. Now, I am the father of 4 daughters, right? And of course, a wife. So I know firsthand how expensive that we'll call it girl care is, right? Even the dog, but we had a female dog, and the groomer cost me $100 a month. I totally get that, and that is a serious way of saving money. And then the other thing is a studio versus a co-op versus a roommate, and so you may need to stay close to work. You may need to rent a house, but you rent it you share. You share the space, and that will cut your expenses and save you money. And the last one, I thought I'm going to give you the vote for the best one, because a lot of times, in business, when a business starts cutting costs, that is a pretty significant indicator that they're going out of business. And when a business looks at ways of generating more revenue, creating more SKUs, more products, coming up with more services to generate more income, then that's a growing business. And so I think it's a great idea to really do an assessment of your gifts and your talents. You talked about surveys, baking, sewing. You could even do personal shopper. You could even do Uber or some of those kinds of things, right? And you can also do just monetizing your gifts. So like you do voiceovers, you can maybe do tutoring or writing. I mean, so there's Upwork. Man, I love that platform. Because that's where I hire people to do a lot of different things. And these are ordinary people with regular jobs who have put out there their talents and abilities to be able to help you in a particular area in which you need. Wow. This was a great segment. My goodness. I hope those of you who are watching right now, if you like what you're hearing, hit the like button, like us on Facebook, put something in a chat room, say amen, say something. All right, because you just heard the truth, and the truth will what?
You free.
Set you free. Absolutely, it will set you free from the bondage of rent and paying the man who does not care about you at all. You need to own your own home, and you need to do it right now. So we're going to talk about ways of doing that now. Next up is Meagan. She just shut it down on talking about ways to save money and make money. Now she's going to open the door to the possibilities of homeownership and talking about the Golden State Finance Authority, folks. You're not going to believe it. We'll be right back right after this commercial break.
Many Californians fear that they will not be able to pay their rent next month. Financial education and literacy are the catalyst for relief. So what resources are out there? A State of California program connects you with a HUD-certified housing counselor who can assist you on your financial education journey with no cost to you. Call today at 1-800-569-4287. Again, that is 1-800-569-4287.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to The Power Is Now, folks. We've been having a very, important conversation about so many important topics. And I certainly hope you will share this video with your family, your friends. Share it. If you're listening to the podcast, share it. If you're watching this on YouTube, share it. If you're watching this on Twitter or Periscope, share the video. Somebody needs to hear this information, because we've been speaking truth, right? And truth does in fact set you free. So next up is Meagan Harris with the Golden State Finance Authority. And I appreciate the Golden State Finance Authority for their partnership. We can count on them every time we do this show to present their information to our ever-growing audience here at the Power Is Now Media. And Meagan, thank you so much for being here today to talk about the Golden State Finance Authority.
The pleasure is all mine, Eric, and thank you for setting this platform up so we can present this information. Too many people don't even realize down payment assistance exists, and that couldn't be further from reality when we talk about GSFA, Golden State Finance Authority. We've been in the business of supporting affordable pathways to homeownership for over 28 years. Our mission is to take you from a renter where you're paying someone else's mortgage to position you as a homeowner. You're paying your own mortgage, you're building your own equity. So that being said, we have a few different program options to present. The first being the Platinum Down Payment Assistance Program. That provides up to 5% in down payment and closing cost assistance to you as a home buyer, whether you already own a home, have owned a home in the past, or you're a first-time home buyer. The maximum loan amount we can provide is $250. That's in California. And then, of course, we have FICO, credit score, and other requirements that the lending professional that you work with, whether it's our friend here, Eric, or someone else, they'll walk you through those qualifications and help you get qualified for your home loan, as well as the assistance that we provide. The Platinum program provides the assistance in two different formats. We provide the assistance in a format of a forgivable second mortgage. So that's basically a second mortgage. It's a lien on the property that lasts for 3 years. It doesn't require any repayment of the assistance funds. It's forgiven over time. There's no interest, there's no surprises, right? It's just the money that helped get you through the door so you can get to that threshold of home ownership. The other option we have is the gift option, and that's where we provide the assistance as a 100% gift that's immediately forgiven at close of escrow. So what that means is that there isn't going to be any lien or mortgage against your property with that assistance, and you're free to refinance and sell at any point in time without that 3-year limitation. So that's kind of the Platinum program in a nutshell. We have other programs as well that provide even more assistance with more flexibility, but we want to make sure we give enough time for question and answers as well. So with that said, I'm going to kick it back to Eric.
Meagan, a great job with that quick synopsis of your program. And I have questions, as I always do, and hopefully these questions will be some of the same questions that those who are watching or listening are thinking about as well. Now, that money is a second mortgage and is forgiven, you said, in about 3 years. You have to stay there the entire time for that money to be forgiven in 3 years?
Yes, the idea is for the buyer to purchase the home as a primary residence and reside there over the course of 3 years until the loan is forgiven. Now, we realize there are military personnel and other situations where people have to leave. Okay, and so that's life, that's a given, but generally the program is for folks who are purchasing a primary residence and intend to stay there.
Now, you forgive that money in 3 years, but it's not the entire sum that you're forgiving at the third year, right? You are forgiving it in increments.
That's absolutely correct, Eric. So it's actually forgiven 1 month at a time over the course of 36 months. So let's say, you're 24 months in and rates are great or the market is high and you just can't resist, the opportunity. You've already had 24 months of the forgiveness available, right? So the balance remaining of 12 months would be what's left to pay. So in other words, every month that you're in the property, a portion of the assistance that was provided is forgiven.
Now, I'm glad that they forgive it in thirds because you're right. Things happen, people need to move, that kind of thing for whatever reasons, or maybe they even need to sell. So whatever portion has not been forgiven, they'll have to pay, whether they're refinancing or they're selling their property, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
If the 3-year period hasn't elapsed.
Okay. So once the 3-year period has completely elapsed, then that second mortgage is reconveyed off the property. They literally owe you no money and they haven't had to make any payments at all during this period on this money?
Not a single penny, Eric.
And what about interest? You're not charging them any interest at all on this money?
0 interest, Eric.
Wow. It sounds too good to be true. But folks, I have to tell you, it is real because as a lender, I am promoting this program and helping many people get involved, and it's a game changer.
It is a game changer, Eric, and that's the point, right? We want people to change the game. We want people to become homeowners. We want to transition people from poverty to affluence and generational wealth. And putting people in products that they can afford and mortgages that they can actually pay is one of the ways we can accomplish that. So GSFA is proud to be a part of that effort.
Wow. Well, I have more questions, but I'm going to turn it over to Yvonne.
My question to you, Meagan, is for people that do not understand, the Golden State Finance Authority program, when you apply, do you have to pay a fee to be in this program? What do you have to, what kind of give us an idea? If I came to you and I said, Eric, I want to be in this program, what else should I do other than the paperwork?
So that's an excellent question, Yvonne. And we get tons of inquiries from clients and potential home buyers every day. They want to know exactly that. So thank you for asking that. So how our program works is we have a network of participating lenders. So we provide the financing, we provide the programs, and then the lender works with the borrower, the home buyer, to go through the process of not only purchasing the home and qualifying for the mortgage, but also receiving the assistance to make that happen. So with that being said, we have very strict requirements with respect to fees and what the buyer can be charged by the lender, because again, the goal of this whole program is affordability. So if you are a home buyer and you approach a lender about a program and they want to charge you a $500 application fee, it's not GSFA. Okay, we do not have any fees that are charged to the borrower to use the program up front. This is a home loan, essentially a home loan that comes with down payment assistance. So the process and getting into the program is pretty much identical to what it would look like if you weren't getting assistance applying for a home mortgage, because the process is exactly the same. Do I qualify for this mortgage? And our requirements for our program align with a lot of the requirements to qualify for a mortgage to begin with. So to answer your question in short, Yvonne, no, we do not charge any fees for the borrowers to use the program. They link with one of our participating lenders and they go through the process. We regulate how much the borrower can actually be charged.
I think that's phenomenal. So everyone should be calling for a Golden State Finance down payment assistant. Eric, your phone is going to ring off the hook. I think that's wonderful, Meagan. I'm very pleased to hear that, because as you said, I have run into where my potential buyers will call me and they'll say, well, I went online and I had to pay a fee in order for the money. And I said, well, how do you know that you're even going to get that down payment assistance money? It just could be another person trying to get money. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Meagan.
My pleasure.
Meagan, I want to just say for the record here, the First Bank is, as you know, one of your approved lenders, and we have no application fee whatsoever. And I talked to many people who are not ready yet, because they don't meet either the FICO score or the debt ratio requirements. Or there's some things they have to get, corrected on their credit report. And so, but I invest the time to explain the program and also put them on a pathway to homeownership, leveraging down payment assistance. And so if anybody out there is being told that there's an upfront fee to participate in any down payment assistance program, you should run immediately. You should run. Now, Jenny, you had a question for Meagan.
Yes, I had a quick question. A lot of times buyers come to me and they're already approved through lenders. And then when I go and ask the lender about the Golden State program, I say half of them know it and the other half don't. So what is it that is changed now that we can maybe talk to lenders more about the program when buyers are not willing to move, and let's say to First Bank and get their loan done through there because they've already gone through the process, but to educate lenders more on the program and get them involved in the program?
Yeah, you know what, Jenny, that is like the Achilles heel of the whole mission, right? Because the more lenders, the more realtors that are knowledgeable about our programs, the more we are doing to solve the homeownership problem, right? So just to get in there, the lenders, we have to have the lenders have to go through a certain process to be approved through us, right? And it's set up that way for a reason, because we don't want situations where borrowers are getting scammed and not getting the services that they need to buy their property. And so, just like the business in general, everybody has a different knowledge base, different skill set. We could be doing the exact same job, but we still don't have the same scope of information, right? And so it does boil down to working with the specific loan officer who is knowledgeable of the program. Eric is obviously one of those, extremely knowledgeable of the GSFA programs, but that's the key. It really does boil down to information, Jenny. I recommend for all of you realtors and loan officers on the line, lenders on the line today, connect with your colleagues, reach out, get with GSFA. We offer trainings on a weekly basis to lenders and realtors that explain our programs. They're fast. It's not going to tie up your whole day. It's informative, and we give you information you can take away so that you can still apply that information later. But bottom line is, the more that we have this information available as professionals, the more readily available that information can be available to our clients. So if you have a buyer who's already working with a lender that their specific loan officer is not approved for GSFA's program, but the company is, then there usually is some kind of internal workaround they can do to transition that borrower into the program, keeping them with their same lender without having to, totally derail everything. Because the bottom line is, we want to make sure everything is convenient and smooth for the customer too. But unfortunately, if it's a company that is not on board with GSFA, the only option is for them to get on board so they can start offering the product to their customers.
Amen. Thank you.
Great question, Jenny. And the challenge is twofold, because it's such a great program. I don't know why every single bank in the universe, Meagan, is not approved with you. Every single bank, every single credit union, every single mortgage broker, should be approved in this program to serve the communities in which they operate. It is a game changer, and I don't understand why. So that's one part of the problem, Jenny, and that there's just simply not enough organizations that are approved, and then those who are approved aren't really marketing the program and supporting the program like they could. The other problem is that there are not enough individual loan officers, even working for banks that are approved on the program, that have taken the time to truly understand and become experts on the program. And unfortunately, then, when you're doing a program, any down payment assistance program, for the first time, you are at high risk of just overstating what can be done or making mistakes. And so experience really does count. Meagan, I want to ask a couple more questions then, and then I'm going to transition into the California Housing Finance Agency, your kind of sister agency out there helping to fulfill the American dream. I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but the program does not require you to be a first-time homebuyer. And we all know the legal definition of a first-time homebuyer, but I want you kind of to expand upon that, because you literally mean that a person can currently own real estate right now and utilize this program to buy another property in which they're going to occupy. Am I correct on that?
You're 1,000% correct, Eric. That's exactly how it works. It doesn't matter if the person has owned a home in the past, or if they currently own a home now or never have. As long as they're using the program to purchase a primary residence, they can use our program.
Yeah, that is really significant, because I've been at this for a minute, about 40 years, and I don't even know of a down payment assistance program issued by a nonprofit or a city or a county or a state that, outside of Golden State Finance Authority, that will allow you to not be a first-time home buyer, to own actual property right now and utilize this program. That to me is significant. Last question. Another differentiator for your organization compared to other organizations out there is the fact that you will allow up to 4 units. And you mentioned a great deal in San Joaquin. Now that's the 3rd or 4th time that city has passed my lips. But I can't believe that your organization will allow that. Can you speak to that and the loan limitation?
Yes, absolutely. So under the FHA and VA loan options with the program, you can purchase a property up to 4 units, so long as you occupy at least one of those units as your primary residence. So that means you can use rents on those properties to not only help you pay your mortgage once you get through, but qualify for the mortgage to begin with. So that's going to be through your FHA and VA options there. And I wanted to touch on something else, Eric, that you mentioned about, the limitations that people have when accessing the program on that. But if you have another question on the fourplex, I want to make sure we get to that too.
Now, on a fourplex, you're allowed to use the income because you have to occupy these fourplexes. You can't buy them as an investment. So you're providing down payment assistance on FHA and VA. That's up to 5%. And we can use the income from the other 3 units to add to their income and help them qualify. So it's actually easier because they have more income to work with, potentially easier for them to buy a 4-unit property in the $400,000 to $500,000 range than it would be for them to buy a single family home in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. Would you agree?
100%. Literally, like the way the underwriting is set up for people to be able to qualify for a property that they're renting units on that they've never actually rented or lived in is amazing. But it's an opportunity that is 100% available to the right home buyer.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, I'm going to let you go at your final comments here, but I'll make sure that my panelists, Jenny and Yvonne, do you have any other questions for Meagan?
Yeah, go ahead.
Commentary is every lender out there should apply. Meagan, I'm certain that the restrictions or the application for a lender should not be that difficult, correct?
That's 100% correct, Yvonne. And that actually leads me into the last of what I wanted to say here. I think a lot of the reasoning behind why more lenders aren't on board with the program is because there's this misconception, which is actually kind of rooted in a lot of reality, that down payment assistance can be a hassle. It's time consuming. There's lots of paperwork, and it could derail somebody's opportunity to buy a home because the seller is turned off by the fact that the borrower is getting assistance. And so, people tend to shy away from that. We live in a world where we want everything quick, easy, and convenient. And if you think that down payment is extra work, down payment assistance is extra work, then you're less likely to offer that option to your buyer, right? And so, number one, Yvonne, yes, the application with GSFA for lenders is extremely small. Like it's literally like 2 pages, okay? And not only that, we don't underwrite files. We literally delegate the entire process of approval for this program to the lender. So there's never any interruption in the timing that it's going to take to close your deal. There's never any excess paperwork, extra cooks in the kitchen, none of that. It's literally the same exact process that you would go through as a home buyer with a regular mortgage without assistance that you would go through using one of our programs. So the more we dispel the inconvenience of down payment assistance and really just, hey, this is a doable thing that doesn't have to make anybody's life hard, I think we'll have more success in getting more lenders on board. So you guys spread the word.
Yeah, definitely.
Jenny, I know you wanted to ask a question before we move to the next topic. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and Carolyn is going to be extremely proud of you. And I think we are too. And I'm excited to see more of you. Thank
you so much, Jenny. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, Meagan. You're doing a fantastic job, and you're filling some big shoes. Carolyn Sansuri is a bona fide pro. She doesn't know, but she makes me nervous when I'm interviewing her. Let her know that. So let's move on, folks. You've just heard about the Golden State Finance Authority. Incredible program. And Meagan, honestly, just touched the surface. There's so much more to talk about, seriously. And so if you want to know more, reach out to a mortgage professional. Yours truly is right here. I'm here for you. Go to qualifiedtobuynow.com. qualifiedtobuynow.com. And you really need to do that. Go to that website, download my mobile app, schedule an appointment. I work by appointment only. Be happy to spend time with you, answer your questions, go deep with you, put you on a plan to homeownership using the Golden State Finance Authority's money. Next up is the California Housing Finance Agency. And you know, the Golden State program is fantastic, but the California Housing Finance Agency, well, they even got more money to give. We're going to talk about that right after this commercial break. You're listening to or watching The Power Is Now Homebuyer Townhall every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Everyone knows the power of social media and the impact a strong online presence has in this day and age. But most real estate agents simply do not have the time to manage all the advertising and marketing details, and that's where the Power Is Now Media steps in. We are the answer you have been looking for. Let us help put your brand on the map. We will create customized graphics for weekly full-page ads, social media content, video, and podcast content for you. Sound complicated and expensive? It is affordable and easy. We have the best experts on the job. Go to thepowerisnow.com and find us under the VIP Agent tab to learn more. This is the future of real estate. Join today. thepowerisnow.com.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to The Power Is Now Homebuyer Town Hall. Folks, you just heard from Meagan Harris. Did a fantastic job breaking down some of the incredible benefits and features of the Golden State Finance Authority, folks. And I'm telling you, if you aren't aware of this, if you have not known about this, take action today. Go to qualifiedtobuynow.com, schedule a time, get more information, get started on the program. And if you know family members or friends, share this video. I promise you, they will thank you for sharing this information because they too want to buy a home just like you. All right, so next up is the California Housing Finance Agency. This organization started in 1975 as a public instrumentality and public subdivision of the state of California. And man, have they been doing big things for a long time. The whole objective of CalFHA is to help people in the middle income buy the high price real estate in California. And it is high price, folks, and it's just getting higher and higher. California real estate is not slowing down, really. It might slow down a little bit, but I mean, you can't buy property today for the same price you could have bought a year ago or 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. In fact, the great financial crisis that took place in 2007 and 2008, did you know that we actually surpassed the 2005 and 2006 prices in 2013? I mean, talk about bouncing back. Real estate in California is going nowhere but up. And so their goal is to help people who are trapped in the middle. I mean, they make enough income because, you make a lot of money here in California, high paying jobs. Every industry is here. I'm talking tech, entertainment, medicine, science, law. It's all here. And of course, we are the 5th or 6th largest state, not state, but country. As a state, we are a country, the 5th or 6th largest country as a state, with 40 million people here and a GDP of $2.6 trillion. No wonder everybody wants to come here and live here. And this is why the demand for real estate is so high and it's not going anywhere but up. So we need programs like the Golden State Finance Authority and the California Housing Finance Agency to help you, because one of the primary differences is that the Golden State Finance Authority will only go to 548,250, whereas the California Housing Finance Agency will go as high as 822,375. So if you're living in these high cost areas in Costa County and in Northern California or LA County or San Diego County or Orange County. I mean, home prices there are out of control. The median prices are in the millions or close to it. So you need high balance loans that provide down payment assistance. And that's what the CalFHA program does. So they have two programs. The first program is called My Home. And this is just like the Golden State Finance Authority. This is a second mortgage, a silent second. And just like the deferred, just like the Golden State, this program does not have any payments, does not have any payments for the entire length of the mortgage. But you do have to pay it back. You do have to pay it back. It is never forgiven. You do have to pay it back. Also, unlike Golden State that doesn't charge any interest, they do charge an interest on that money. Currently, as of today, the interest rate is 1%. But if you go to my mobile app, qualifiedtobuynow.com, you can download my mobile app and you'll see I have a link to the interest rates for both the Golden State Finance Authority and also the California Housing Finance Agency. And you can check out what the rates are later on. And so the way this works is that on the My Home for FHA and for VA, so FHA is 3.5%, VA and conventional loans are 3%. So they will provide a loan, 3.5% FHA, 3% VA and conventional loans. And it's pretty significant, right? I mean, also USDA. USDA is also 3%. So if you want the most money, you want to go FHA because they'll give you 3.5% of the total loan amount. And what that means is that they're going to give you the total amount of 3.5% of the loan that you need, plus the mortgage insurance that you're going to finance on top of the loan. All right. And so that's what most people do is they finance the mortgage insurance. Because anytime you're putting less than 20% down, you got mortgage insurance to pay. And so you can pay it cash if you want to, but it's for FHA, it's 1.75%. That's almost 2%. Imagine on an $800,000 loan, that's 16 grand in mortgage insurance. You'd be better off adding that on top of the loan and financing it over 30 years and getting 3.5% of that total amount financed. So that's for FHA. For USDA is 3%, for conventional is 3%, and for VA, it is 3%. Now, that's the full loan amount. But in order to get the full 3.5% or 3%, you have to meet certain criteria. And here's what they are. You have to be employed by a school or by a fire department. You got to be a school employee or a fire department employee in order to get the full 3.5 or 3%. All right. If you're not employed, if that's not your occupation, then you're not going to be able to get the full 3.5% FHA or 3% for USDA, VA, and conventional. You're going to be limited to $11,000. Now, that still may be significant if you're buying a home in the $300,000-400,000 range, but the amount you're able to get is cut significantly if you do not work for a school or a fire department. Now, there are still some exceptions. You may not work for a school or fire department, but they'll give you that full 3.5% if you're buying new construction or a manufactured home or a single family resale with an ADU. So if you're not employed by the school and you're not a fire department employee, but you are buying a new construction or a manufactured home or a single family home with an ADU, you can get the full 3.5%, the full 3%. On a conventional loan, 3% of $800,000, that's $24,000 that you can get in down payment assistance. All right, so those are the exceptions. Now, this is a really big difference, by the way, between CalFHA and Golden State. They don't have any such requirements, right? It's 5%, period. It's 5%. Whereas this is 3.5% or $11,000, depending on your occupation, which, you know, school teacher or a school employee or fire department employee, or depending on the property you're buying, new construction, manufactured home, a single family home, resale with an ADU. All right, so It's a little complicated. This is why you need to work with an experienced mortgage professional that can help you figure out how much you qualify for, how much you can qualify for. So that's called My Home. The other program is called ZIP. The ZIP stands for Zero Interest Program, and this is for the closing costs. So the My Home, the 3.5% or as low as 3% or as low as $11,000, that's just for the down payment. That's it. That money cannot be used for anything other than the down payment. So on a VA loan, there's no down payment, so you can use all of that, right, to cover your principal. For a USDA loan, there's no down payment, so you can use all of that money to pay down the loan. My Home can only be used for down payment, but ZIP can be used for closing costs. ZIP stands for Zero Interest Program, and the reason why is because the rate is slightly higher. The rate is slightly higher. That's why there's no interest being charged. Their interest rate on the first mortgage is slightly higher to provide you an interest credit. In fact, you can get as low as 2%, which will represent a rate not as high as a loan of 3%, which will represent an interest rate a little bit higher. And so it just depends on what you need for closing costs. If you only need 2%, go for the lower rate. If you need 3%, the maximum they'll provide, then go for the higher rate. It's zero interest, no interest is being charged on the loan, but again, you're paying a slightly higher interest rate on the first mortgage to take advantage of this program, and it's primarily for government loans. Now, this is a third mortgage if you're using My Home, because that'll be a second mortgage, and then the ZIP would be a third mortgage. Or if you're just using the ZIP, which you can do that, it'll be a second mortgage. The payments are deferred. There are no payments at all required for the life of the loan, and you do have to pay the money back. Neither one of these loans are forgivable. In addition to that, let's say that interest rates dropped even more or you want to refinance. Well, you got to pay it off. You cannot, these loans will not subordinate at all. They have to be paid off. If you refinance the property, they have to be paid off. Obviously, if you sell the property, they have to be paid off. And of course, if you stay there the whole 30 years and you pay off the first mortgage, then both loans will be due and payable at that time. So this program works for FHA, VA, USDA, conventional loans. It is a great program, and I highly recommend it for a number of reasons. And number one is because of the maximum loan limit. You can go as high as $822,375. Now, here are some of the potential challenges you may have, because if you're buying a property in that 700, 800,000 range, chances are you may be a move-up buyer. You may not be a first-time home buyer, although I must say that anyone buying a home for the first time in a high-cost area, that's about what you're going to be spending, $700,000, $800,000. Man, have times changed where a first-time home buyer would be buying a $300,000, maybe even a $250,000 house, getting into their starter home. Well, today a starter home, depending on where you're living, could be $700,000, $800,000. So here's the thing, though. In order to participate with the California Housing Finance Agency, you have to be a first-time home buyer. That is not the case here with the Golden State. But with California Housing Finance Agency, you have to be a first-time home buyer. And a first-time home buyer is a person who has not had ownership interests in the principal residence or resided in a home owned by their spouse. So neither you or your spouse cannot have owned a property within the last 3 years. All right, so that is a non-negotiable requirement. If you've owned a property in the last 3 years, you will not be eligible. Secondly, you have to occupy the property. And of course, that is a requirement on all down payment assistance programs. Most of them require that you move into the property, you got to live in the property. But here's a game changer that Golden State has to offer. Golden State will allow you to have a non-owner or non-occupant co-borrower or co-signer. With the California Housing Finance Agency, they will not allow at all non-occupant co-borrowers, non-occupant co-signers. Now, the difference between a co-borrower and a co-signer is typically a co-signer may not be living in the property with you. You can do that with Golden State, but you cannot do that with CalFHA. CalFHA requires all parties on the loan to be living in the property. There are no exceptions to that rule. Now, there are a couple of exceptions they will allow if you're not a first-time home buyer, and here they are. The first one is that you qualify to utilize the HUD Section 184 Indian Home Loan Guarantee Program. And that's obviously it's a special program. The other one is that you qualify for the natural disaster relief program. So if your property was burned down or flooded out and it is no longer inhabitable and it's been declared by the president as a major disaster area, it's listed on the FEMA map as a major disaster area, and you lived in that property as your primary residence, you can qualify. If it happened a year ago, you could qualify. If it happened 2 years ago, you could qualify. If it happened 3 years ago, you lost your home through a major disaster, you can qualify. Anything after 3 years, though, you no longer qualify. So that's the requirement, 3-year limitation on the disaster date. Now, let's talk about credit requirements. So for government loans, the minimum FICO score is 660. And that just so happens to be the same, by the way, for the Golden State Finance Authority. There's a 660 as well. So that's something they have in common. Borrowers with no credit scores are not permitted. In fact, CalFHA will not use non-traditional credit. They don't do manual underwriting on that program. With Golden State, manual underwriting is actually allowed. All borrowers must meet the minimum representative credit score. So if you have all 3 scores reporting, we're going to go with the middle score. If just 2, we'll go with the lowest of the 2. And if just 1, we'll go with the 1. So the good news is that you don't have to have 3. You can have 2. You can even just have 1 as long as you meet the minimum score of 660. Now, there's no exceptions to the minimum score at all, and your debt ratio can't be more than 45%, and that's if you get an automated underwriting approval. So for manually underwritten loans, it has to be 43%, and that's if you don't get the automated approval. Now, if a person has a credit score, let me tell you something here. Let me clarify something. So we use DU. All lenders use DU. It's an artificial intelligence. It's called desktop underwriter. We have to get an approved accept or approved eligible, right? We have to get that in order for you to max out the opportunity at 25% back-end ratio, and of course you have to meet the 660 FICO score, right? But if we get a refer, then we can still, under CalFHA, still do a manual underwrite, but your debt ratio can only be 43. It's when you don't have credit that we can't do a manual underwrite at all. We can't build alternative credit. You're going to have to go do the work and get a credit score. So I wanted to clarify that. Now, the income limits vary by county. All FHA loans, whether you're using down payment assistance or not, the income, the loan limits vary by county. And when using down payment assistance, the income limit for CalFHA varies by county. And this is another big difference between the Golden State. The Golden State program on their FHA loans, on their government loans, they do not have any income limits. But the California Housing Finance Agency has income limits on both their government and conventional loans. With Golden State, they have income limits only on their conventional loans, not on their government loans. So again, you must be a first-time home buyer. And I just told you about 2 exceptions to that rule: the Indian Home Loan Guarantee, HUD Section 184, and your property, if you owned it within the last 3 years and you lived there, was destroyed and it's not inhabitable and declared a major disaster area. There's one more exception to the rule, and that is if you inherited property, you own an investment property that perhaps you inherited, but you never moved into that property. If you can prove that you have been renting for the last 3 years, without a doubt, then you can still qualify even owning a property. That's the one exception where you are technically not a first-time home buyer because you own other real estate, but you can actually take advantage of this program, provided that property was inherited you've never lived in that property, and you can show proof that you've been renting for the entire 3-year period, and also will probably want documentation of how you acquired the property. That is a rental or investment property. Now, Cal FHA requires that you complete homebuyer education and you obtain the certificate. I encourage you to get it now if you want to take advantage of that program. The certificate is good for 1 year, so don't wait till the last minute and you get the education. Now, we talked about income limits, and let me give you an idea of the income limits that are required. The income limits that are required on the program, for example, Alameda County is $248,000. Contra Costa County is $248,000. Sacramento, down there where Golden State is, the income limit is $180,000. Orange County, $211,000. Let's see here, Fresno, $139,000. So it's pretty high, right? It's pretty high. Los Angeles, $158,000. San Diego County, let's see here, I think I saw San Diego County, $188,000. That's right, $188,000 is the income limit for San Diego County. San Francisco, $248,000. So that gives you an idea. Again, go to qualifiedtobuynow.com and you'll be able to see these limits on my mobile app. I have the limits, I have the interest rates, I have all the details on the mobile app. Now, let's move on to conventional loans. The FICO score requirement for conventional loans is 680. And if you meet the low to moderate income limit, which you can find on the website again, find out if you fall within the low to moderate income limit, the FICO score goes down to 660. So if you exceed that, then the minimum FICO score is 680. The debt ratio requirement is 45. And then of course, the first time homebuyer requirements all still apply. And so that's really the primary difference. There's one other thing too, is that you could potentially get less money. If you're forced to go on Golden State, you can get less money if your income falls into that low to moderate income category. If your income falls within that low to moderate income category for Golden State, you can get 5% in down payment assistance versus 3%. With California Housing Finance Agency, if you meet either requirement, whether it be the income at the limit, or you fall into the lower income limits and therefore are able to meet a lower FICO score requirement, you're still going to get the same amount of money. There's no difference in the amount of money you receive as there would be with the Golden State Finance Authority. Now, one of the things that Cal FHA requires is a home warranty, which is unusual, but is a great thing. I highly recommend it. I don't know of a real estate professional that would not recommend you get a home warranty. And so they actually require it unless you're not a first-time home buyer, which be because you met one of the exceptions we talked about. So if you're not that, then you're required to have a home warranty that's going to cover water heaters, air conditioning, oven, stove, ranges, everything. I think it's a great thing to have. And again, you've got to have the certificate. It's good for 1 year. And here's some property limitations you need to be aware of. With the California Housing Finance Agency, they will not allow you to buy a property on an acreage greater than 5. 5 acres is the maximum. That is the maximum. And the home has to be zoned in a single family home. It can't be 2 units, 3 units, or 4 units, which is a big difference with Golden State. You can do that. You can buy a house, of course, with an ADU. Condominium will work. Townhomes will work. Manufactured homes will work as well, as long as they are double wide and built before or after June 15th, 1976. So the maximum loan limit is $822,375, and that's about the case in all the major counties. Alameda County is $822,375. Contra Costa County is $822,375. Kern County, $548,250. Los Angeles County, $822,375. Riverside County is $548,250, which is the conforming limit. Sacramento County will go as high as $598. Then we have San Diego County will go as high as $753,250. And hey, there's San Joaquin, $548,250, and Santa Clara County, $822,375. So if you need more purchasing power, the California Housing Finance Agency can make it happen for you. It is a fantastic program. And again, if you want more information and you would like to talk with me about it, download my mobile app at qualifiedtobuynow.com. Well, that is the presentation for the California Housing Finance Agency. What does my panel have to say? Meagan, let me start with you with Golden State. Aren't the differences pretty stark between the two organizations?
They are. And, for that reason, Eric, they fill a gap. They fill a need. The programs, while they are different, they are compatible in that there's a shared mission to get more people into home ownership. So I think there's a need for the differences, definitely, especially in California.
Well, you're absolutely right. And actually, that is their mission, to cover the middle, and I think to cover the gap. And what great partners you guys are in meeting the needs of Californians. Are there any questions from my panelists, Jenny and Yvonne?
I just want to make a short comment, and it has to do with these down payment assistance and the acceptance of offers and the lack of that we had during COVID, and the stabilization of the market like we talked about earlier today. And we are getting FHA offers accepted where they were not being accepted before. We're getting down payment assistance offers accepted like they weren't before. So now is a time where everybody's kind of sitting back and rethinking everything. And I think now is a market where sellers are going to be taking down payment assistance a little more serious than they were before.
Jenny, I totally agree with you on that. And it's good news. It's good news. Yvonne, comments?
Well, I'm thrilled that DPAs are on a comeback. I know Radian and a lot of the different companies offer the down payment assistance, but therefore we must go through a lender. So I'm just pleading to our loan officers in the state of Arizona. I know a few of you do, and you are very successful with the DPAs, but we just need more of you, just to open your arms and surround yourselves with assisting people into getting into home ownership. So that's what excites me about hearing all about California, and I certainly want to mirror it here in Arizona.
First Bank is coming soon.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. We do traditional FHA, VA conventionals in all 49 states, but we are limited in terms of where we are able to do down payment assistance. California, we're all in. But for those of you who are watching in other states, stay tuned. More information to come. So now we've covered the California Housing Finance Agency. We've covered the Golden State Finance Authority. And if you have any questions about either program, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer your questions. We're going to wrap up now with special announcements from our VIP agents who are with us today about listings and market opportunities. Let's start with you, Jenny Gonzalez.
Oh, yes. I have two fantastic listing opportunities. I have my favorite one, which I almost got heat stroke over, my land listing of 20.5 acres on Hilltop. Literally, the street name is Hilltop. It's 0 Hilltop Street, and it's in Riverside County. You can divide it up into 5-acre parcels. You don't need to run utilities. All you do is dig a well, you got propane, and you have solar, and you're ready to go. I also have a beautiful 55 and older condo for sale. It's absolutely gorgeous. The 2-bedroom, 2-bath, completely remodeled with ceramic wood floors. It's about 1,187 square feet for $450,000. It's got an HOA of $336 a month, but it's a gated community, and actually the pool that is there is only for the 55 older. So you actually have a lot more seclusion. It also has a gazebo outside, and it's a shady spot in the complex, and everybody's falling in love with it at this point in time. So if you have any questions regarding any of these properties, go ahead and give me a call. This is Jenny Gonzalez with Keller Williams Corona. My license number is 01249788. My cell phone number is 951-316-0374. And my website is jennygsaleshomes.com.
Thank you, Jenny, and good luck with the land listing, and congratulations on that condo you just sold. Next up is Yvonne Mcfadden.
Thank you, Eric. And it's a wonderful time to buy in the state of Arizona. As mentioned earlier, we do have homes that are starting in the $150,000 range. They're not in the city of Phoenix. If you want to live in the outlying areas, your opportunities are greater. And your 55 plus communities are always a good bet because several of the communities offer wonderful prices under $300,000. It just depends on your lifestyle. I'm Yvonne Mcfadden. I'm with Deluxe Realty. My telephone number is 480-628-2619. You can always find me on my website, which is YvonneMcFaddenRealtor.com.
Thank you, Yvonne and Jenny, for being the extraordinary real estate professionals you are. I appreciate your participation as VIP agents on the Power is Now Media Network. And folks, if you want to learn more about Jenny and also Yvonne, please go to thepowerisnow.com, find real estate affiliates on our menu bar, and you can see their full bios there. Also, go to their websites, reach out to them directly. You have their telephone numbers. Talk with them about any needs you may have. They are bona fide experts in the business. They are VIP agents on The Power Is Now. Finally, Meagan Harris. Meagan, thank you again. You did such a fantastic job. I was trying to keep up with you with the California Housing Finance Agency. I hope I did. Thank you for sharing all that great information. Any final comments today about the show?
Definitely. Eric, I think this show is fantastic. Really, it brings a lot of needed information to the home buying community and the real estate community at large. Even us as professionals can learn something every day. And so this show definitely highlights that. So I just wanted to encourage people, just because the market conditions are what they are and the supply and demand problem we're having, the economy situation, don't count yourself out. There's still an opportunity to become a homeowner. You might have to make some compromises and some sacrifices to get it done, but it can be accomplished. And the short-term sacrifice is absolutely worth the long-term benefit. So connect with GSFA. If you're a resident of California and you're looking to buy a home, reach out to our clients relations team. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. Pacific time, and we can help walk you through selecting a participating lender. Of course, Eric is always at your service as well. So I encourage you to reach out to First Bank and Eric directly if you have any specific interest in the Platinum program. So that being said, I just want to say again, Eric, it's always my honor and pleasure to share the platform with you and Yvonne and Jenny as well. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure is all mine. Well, folks, there you have it. Another great show with these extraordinary real estate professionals. There they all are on the screen. Reach out to them, call them, engage with them, get the information you need right now to become a home buyer. And of course, I appreciate Golden State and the great work they're doing, the California Housing Finance Agency, the great products they have. They make it difficult for people not to own a home. They make it difficult. I mean, you have no reason not to get the information and help you need, because there's organizations like Golden State and the California Housing Finance Agency who are here, ready, willing, and able to help you buy. Well, folks, that's a wrap of our show today. Remember, we are at our best and we maximize our success when we act now. The power is now. Thank you for watching.
The Power is Now Media is worldwide with growing audience of future homebuyers, investors, builders, developers, real estate agents, and brokers. The Power is Now Media is well positioned to increase awareness and produce results for our growing roster of advertising partners. An advertisement on any of our platforms is the right step toward reaching and communicating key brand messages to a targeted network of individuals, families, and communities interested in housing. Our content areas include feature stories and profiles on successful real estate agents, business owners, government, and community leaders. The Power is Now magazines are the leading resource for real estate agents, mortgage bankers, entrepreneurs, and small home ownership businesses, providing leaders with business strategy information, resources, and tools through PIN, real estate, and programming guide magazines. Stay up to the minute with real estate and mortgage news and information from industry experts. VIP agents are able to feature listings each week. The Power is Now TV radio podcast features weekly shows that include Homebuyers Townhall, Real Estate Roundtable, VIP Agent Spotlight, and so much more. Each week, VIP agents have opportunities to be featured guests on the shows. VIP agents can discuss and showcase houses, neighborhoods, and provide brief introduction. The interviews are unlimited 10 to 15 minutes on each current listing. This product alone separates you from your competition. The Power is Now delivers to you market update interview to promote listing weekly, promotional biographical video, co-host a bi-monthly Homebuyers Town Hall show, featured subject matter expert on Real Estate Roundtable show, The Power is Now program guide e-magazine, The Power is Now national e-magazine, article writing and blogging, social media content customization, inclusion and press releases, graphic design services, business and performance coaching, technology support, referrals, lead generation opportunities, and management support.